The galaxy didn't run on money, crystals, credits, or shiny metals. No, it ran on food, bite-sized, chewable, snackable food. The richer you were, the spicier your cuisine. The poorer you were, the more your meals looked like gray paste scraped off the bottom of a malfunctioning refrigerator. And somewhere on the lowest rung of this ridiculous edible economy lived Morga, an alien grandmother who had more wrinkles than grains of rice in her pantry. Mostly because she didn't have a pantry. Mostly because she didn't have rice. Mostly because she didn't have anything except one stale, expired protein bar that could legally qualify as a weapon. She held it like it was her last hope, even though the label said, "Do not eat after 4827. And the current year was somewhere far, far beyond that. Morga sighed dramatically, the kind of sigh that could guilt-trip an asteroid into orbiting a different star. Her granddaughter Zarka ignored her, lying upside down on a floating couch, neon green hair dangling like electrical vines. Zarka wore torn spacepunk leggings, dented metal boots, and a jacket covered in stickers that said things like, "Reject galactic tradition," and "I bite." Her arms and neck glowed with bioink tattoos that pulsed every time she got annoyed, which was constantly. "You never appreciate your grandmother," Morga croaked, holding the expired bar high like she was presenting a newborn child. "I suffer. I starve. I crumble like ancient bread. But you like to rebel. You like to live your punk life, wasting your beauty, your youth, your potential for a marriage that could buy me at least one decent meal." Zarka rolled her eyes so hard the air rippled. "I'm not being traded for food. Not happening. Not now, not ever. But food is life." "Then get a job." "A job?" Morga clutched her chest in horror. "Do I look like I am built for labor? I'm 2 centuries old. My back is basically decorative. I've had 4 hip replacements. My hips have hips." The ship shook violently as another debt notification hit their hull like a thrown brick. The Galactic Grocery Council wasn't subtle. If you didn't pay your snack tax, they made sure everyone in a 3-kilometer radius heard about it. The message scrolled across the ship's screen: pay 6,000 snack credits, or be banished to the vegetable mines. Zarka snorted. "Grandma, you're bankrupt again." "I am not bankrupt," Morga said with the fury of a raccoon denied access to a trash can. "I am temporarily lacking in snack liquidity." "That means broke. That means you need to get married," Morga corrected, jabbing a finger at her. "Do you know how much your hand in marriage could get us? At least 20,000 credits. Maybe even a buffet." Zarka sat up. "I am not marrying some cosmic creep just so you can eat chocolate for the first time in 10 years. I don't need chocolate. I will settle for warm soup and dignity. But dignity is expensive these days." Another alert burst across the ship. "You owe 24 hours of community service at the vegetable mines. Report immediately." Morga shrieked. "No! Anything but vegetables. They are raw. They are crunchy. They are healthy. They're literally food. They are food that makes me suffer spiritually." Zarka smacked her forehead and floated off the couch. "So what's the plan? You're not selling me to some alien warlord. You tried that last month. He wanted a fertility contract. And you refused," Morga yelled. "You refused a man who could have fed us for a decade. He was 300 years old and had tentacles coming out of his. He was kind." Zarka's tattoos flickered faster. "I'm not marrying anyone." Morga was about to deliver another dramatic speech when a rumor popped into her mind. A rumor she heard in the shady back alleys of the Cosmic Bazaar. Humans. Humans were desperate. Humans were easy. Humans would date anything that smiled at them. Humans had snacks that never ended. Humans had convenience stores open all night. Humans were walking vending machines of romance and carbohydrates. Her eyes widened. Zarka saw the expression and backed away slowly. "No. Yes. No. I have decided." "Don't say it." "We are going to Earth." "No!" But it was too late. Morga slammed a button on the control panel, and their ragged ship groaned to life, engine coughing like a chain-smoking dragon. Space warped around them. Zarka screamed. Morga cackled. A lonely protein bar rattled in its wrapper. They materialized behind a convenience store on Earth at 3:17 a.m., the time when most crimes, confessions, and questionable purchases happen. Jay, a perfectly average human with messy hair and an oversized hoodie, walked out of the store holding a family-size pack of instant spicy noodles, blissfully unaware that his life was about to detonate. He froze when he saw the glowing ship. What the? Morga teleported behind him like a hungry ninja. You! She boomed. Jay screamed. Morga grabbed his shoulder. I am too old, she declared dramatically. Take my granddaughter in exchange for food. Jay blinked. What? Zarka teleported next to them, looking murderous. Grandma, stop trying to sell me. She stopped mid-sentence. Her eyes drifted to Jay's grocery bag. She saw chips. She saw noodles. She saw snacks, human snacks, mountains of them behind the glass windows of the store. The glowing tattoos pulsed like a disco. She whispered, awestruck. Humans have unlimited snacks? Jay took one step back. Then a second. Then Morga grabbed him by the hood and dragged him toward the ship. His last words before being sucked inside were, I just wanted noodles. And the universe didn't even pretend to care. Jay woke up dangling upside down like a confused piñata. The ropes holding him weren't normal ropes. They looked like glowing noodles knotted around his ankles, warm and slightly spicy. One noodle flicked him in the face like it was offended by his existence. He groaned, trying to understand how going to buy noodles at 3 a.m. had ended with him being seasoned, marinated, and hung like alien dinner decor. Zarka stood in front of him, arms crossed, neon hair blazing like she'd dipped it into a malfunctioning laser cannon. Her expression was intense, inspecting him the way someone might inspect a suspicious vending machine that sometimes gives free snacks and sometimes gives electrical shocks. So, she said, circling him, you're human. Jay blinked. I was last time I checked. Good, Zarka said. Humans are rumored to be squishy, emotional, full of weird quirks, and easily bribed. I need to verify all of that. I'm not easily bribed, Jay protested, dangling, swaying slightly. I take offense to that. She pulled a bag of masala chips from his hoodie pocket. He gasped. Okay, maybe I'm a little bribable, but that's personal. Before she could respond, a loud clattering echoed from behind them. Morga stumbled into the room like she had sprinted through a tornado made of expired dumplings. She slapped her hands together like an auctioneer ready to sell the galaxy. Human! Morga barked. Prove your snack wealth at once. What does that even mean? Jay snapped, still upside down. Show us your food treasure, Morga demanded. We heard humans keep snacks in magical glowing cold boxes. You mean refrigerators? Yes. The ice vaults. Open yours for inspection. Jay blinked. I don't have it with me. It's at home. Zarka gasped dramatically. So you admit you possess an entire vault of snacks? No. I have milk and leftovers. Maybe some cookies. Morgan nearly fainted. Cookies? You have luxury within arm's reach? I mean they're old cookies. Old cookie still cookie, she shouted. Jay groaned, struggling against the noodle ropes. Look, I don't know what kind of cosmic misunderstanding this is, but I'm not marrying anyone. Especially not because of snacks. Zarka's tattoos flashed brightly. Not even for unlimited spicy noodles? He hesitated. She leaned closer. The kind that melts your sinuses and makes your ancestors sneeze? Jay swallowed loudly. Continue. Before she could take advantage of his weakness, Morga shoved herself between them. Enough flirting. We must discuss the terms. I'm not flirting, Jay yelped. I am, Zarka corrected. Well, trying. Human flirting is weird. Jay didn't want to know what alien flirting looked like. Unfortunately, he found out anyway. Zarka reached out and flicked his nose. He yelped. She lifted his hair and sniffed him. He nearly had a heart attack. She poked his cheek like it was a sample pastry. "What are you doing?" he shouted. "Evaluating. Humans have interesting texture." Morga clapped her hands. "Excellent. He passes the compatibility check." "No, I don't," Jay shouted. "I didn't even sign up for the test." Zarka leaned close. "You smell like microwaved noodles in fear." "I like it." "I need to wake up," Jay muttered. "This is a nightmare. This is absolutely a nightmare." The ship lights dimmed suddenly, and a massive holographic screen dropped from the ceiling, showing a strange document titled Alien Union of Food-Based Marriage Contracts, Beginner Edition. Jay stared. "No. No way. Absolutely no." Morga cleared her throat and read it out loud like a priest at a wedding ceremony from hell. "In order to consummate a legally binding food marriage between an alien spouse and a human provider of snacks, the following steps must be completed." Jay screamed quietly into his sleeve. Zarka smirked. Morga continued reading. 1. The human must present evidence of snack availability. "I don't have evidence." "He has a refrigerator," Zarka announced. Jay glared at her. "You don't know that. You said it yourself," she shot back. "That's not evidence, that's conversation." 2. Morga read. "The couple must endure the test of spicy noodles." Zarka raised a brow. "This one I can definitely do. Let's fry your taste buds together." Jay whimpered. "And 3. Morga said. "They must complete the ritual of the dancing llamas." Jay blinked. "The what?" The hologram projected 3 llamas wearing glitter, sunglasses, and belly dancer scarves. They wiggled their hips in slow motion. Jay stared in disbelief. "Llamas," he whispered. "Why llamas?" "It is tradition," Morga said sternly. "Do not question the llamas." Zarka sighed dreamily. "They dance beautifully. They're holograms." "Yes," Zarka said, "but sensual holograms." Jay wanted to crawl into a hole. The screen shifted to a diagram of someone balancing a bowl of noodles while squatting on a glowing platform. The caption read, "The spicy oath of burning love." "Nope," Jay said. "No. I'm out. I'm not squatting for anyone. Or chanting anything. Or eating noodles that can liquefy a throat." Morga ignored him and snapped her fingers, releasing the noodle ropes. He fell to the ground like a sack of wet laundry. She leaned down and poked his forehead. "Human," she declared, "if you do not marry my granddaughter, the Galactic Grocery Council will take me away and force me into the vegetable mines." Jay stared. "What do you want me to do about it? Provide snacks? Seduce my granddaughter? Participate in spicy rituals?" Zarka crossed her arms. "You don't have to seduce me. Just give me access to human chips and I'll consider it." "That's worse," Jay cried. Before he could argue more, an alarm blared across the ship. Red lights flashed. A robotic voice announced, "Warning, Galactic Food Authority inbound. Warrant issued for marriage for food trafficking." Morga gasped like she'd been shot. Zarka grabbed Jay's wrists. "We have to hide. Now." "Hide where?" "In the pantry." "You don't have a pantry." "We will improvise." She dragged him into a glowing storage room, slammed the door, and activated stealth mode. Jay was out of breath, terrified, and covered in alien noodle dust. Zarka leaned close, eyes wild and excited. "If you don't agree to the marriage ritual soon, they'll take her away." Jay blinked faster than a malfunctioning light bulb. "This night," he whispered, "has escalated terribly. And it was only getting worse." ChatGPT said. Jay didn't know how long he spent in that cramped glowing storage room, pressed between a crate labeled, "Do not touch, explosive gummy bears," and Zarka, who radiated chaotic energy like she was personally powered by trouble. Every time the Galactic Food Authority's footsteps echoed down the hall, Zarka clamped a hand over his mouth, mostly to keep him quiet, but also because she seemed fascinated by the human mouth itself. Soft, she whispered, poking his cheek again. Stop doing that, he hissed. I'm studying your texture. I don't want to be studied. Too bad. A loud metallic crash shook the ship. Jay panicked. Zarka smirked. Morga screamed somewhere in the distance, which didn't help Jay's stress levels one bit. Then another alarm blared, vessel compromised. Food authorities entering. Initiate panic protocol. Jay tugged at Zarka's sleeve. What exactly is panic protocol? Zarka pressed the glowing button on the wall. A glitter cannon exploded in their faces. Jay choked on sparkles. What the? It confuses inspectors, she whispered, wiping glitter off her face. They dislike festive substances. Jay wiped glitter off his tongue. I dislike festive substances. He stumbled out of the pantry with Zarka pushing him from behind, and they snuck deeper into the ship's twisting corridors. The walls vibrated as heavy armored footsteps filled the halls. Jay tried not to imagine what a Galactic Food Authority agent looked like, but knowing this galaxy, they were probably 9 feet tall, glowing, or made entirely of angry marshmallow. They rounded a corner and ran straight into Morga. She grabbed them both in a panic, dragging them into another room that looked like a cross between a kitchen and an insane asylum. Pots, glowing ladles, floating utensils, all whirled around like they were possessed. We must complete the ritual, Morga shouted, shaking Jay by the shoulders. Jay screamed. Stop shaking me! There is no time, Morga insisted. If the authority catches us, we'll all be sent to the vegetable mines. Wait, Jay said, panting. What do they even do to people there? Zarka answered casually. They make you wash celery and chop broccoli until your will to live collapses. That should be illegal. It is illegal, Zarka said. That's why they do it. Jay took a deep breath. Okay. What do I have to do? Morga lit up like she'd been plugged into a wall socket. We begin preparation for the sacred spice trial. She clapped, and a pedestal rose from the floor, holding a steaming bowl of noodles so red it looked like it had been cooked in the lava of a hell volcano. Jay backed away. I am not eating that. Zarka grabbed the bowl and slurped a strand. Her hair literally sparked. Her eyes glowed like embers. Oh yeah, she whispered. That's the stuff. You're insane, Jay muttered. You're marrying me, she replied, licking spicy steam off her lips. I haven't agreed to anything. Morga shoved the bowl under his chin. Just taste it, human. A single slurp. A single noodle. A kiss of the spice. Jay shook his head violently. Nope. Do it, Zarka encouraged. No. Yes. No. Yes. Morga grabbed him by the nose and forced a noodle into his mouth. Jay's entire body convulsed. His soul tried to escape through his ears. He saw colors he didn't know existed. He saw his ancestors sweating in the afterlife. He screamed, then coughed, then screamed again. Zarka patted his back. You survived the first stage. Impressive. I tasted fire. He wheezed. Yes, Morga said proudly. That was level 1. Level 1? Before he could run away, the ship shook again. A booming voice echoed through the intercom. This is the Galactic Food Authority. Surrender immediately or we will confiscate all illegal snacks. Zarka gasped. They'll take your chips. Jay froze. My chips? All of them. Jay stiffened like a warrior hearing the battle horn of destiny. Nobody, he whispered, takes my chips. Zarka blinked. Whoa, that was actually kind of hot. Before she could say more, Morga dragged them into another room, the ritual chamber. Jay's mouth fell open. It was basically a cosmic gymnasium covered in glowing runes and holographic decals of dancing llamas wearing glittery hip scarves. The llamas wiggled their pixelated butts, making mystical chiming sounds as they moved. Jay pointed. There must be a logical explanation for why these llamas exist. There is not, Morga said. It is tradition, Zarka added. Jay stared at the holographic sign floating above them. Love is spice, spice is pain, pain is foreplay. He covered his face. I want to go home. Too late, Zarka said, pushing him toward a glowing circle. Time for the cosmic squat of commitment. Jay looked at her like she just told him taxes were due in interpretive dance. The what? The squat, Zarka repeated, taking position. Follow me. She bent her knees and lowered into the strangest squat Jay had ever seen, like a martial arts stance mixed with someone trying very hard not to fart in public. Jay tried to copy her. His knees cracked like a brittle breadstick. Good, Morga said, circling them. Now recite the oath of noodle devotion. I don't know the oath. Zarka fed him a glowing noodle. It will come to you. It didn't. He choked on it. Morga sighed. Humans are terrible at rituals. Before they could continue, the chamber doors exploded open. A squad of armored Food Authority agents marched in, each holding weapons shaped like giant spatulas. You! The captain boomed, pointing at Morga. You are under arrest for attempting an unauthorized marriage for snacks transaction. Zarka jumped in front of her grandmother. No! Jay, adrenaline surging, stepped between the agents and the two aliens. He blurted the first thing that came to mind, loud, dramatic, and stupid. You cannot arrest her! He shouted. Because humans invented snacks? The agents froze. Zarka blinked. Morga gasped. Jay panicked but kept going. We invented chips, noodles, popcorn, nachos, spices that could bring entire alien armies to their knees. He grabbed Zarka's spicy noodle bowl and held it up like a sacred artifact. This is level 1 for us. The agents murmured in shock. One whispered. Level 1? Impossible. Another said. Humans are gods. Jay swallowed, sweating. So if you want to fight, come get a taste. The entire chamber fell silent. Then everything descended into pure chaos. The moment the humans were declared acceptable husband material, everything in the ritual hall snapped into high-speed chaos. The llamas began warming up their legs like professional dancers about to perform at an intergalactic talent show. The shamans argued over which cosmic noodle pot was the spiciest, and the grandmother shouted orders in 3 dialects that didn't even belong to her species. It was like standing in the middle of a wedding, a funeral, and a food festival all happening simultaneously. The human didn't know whether to run, duck, or look interested, but the granddaughter grabbed his arm so tightly it felt like she was afraid he might escape and take the snacks with him. She dragged him right toward the ceremonial platform, where a bowl of simmering red noodles glowed like molten lava. The smell alone could have dissolved a small planet. A robed elder explained that sharing the spine-melting noodles of eternal devotion was a traditional bonding act, one that tested compatibility, courage, and digestive stability. The human didn't want any part of a dish that came with a warning label engraved in metal, but the granddaughter looked so hyped, eyes sparkling like she'd just seen an infinite buffet, that refusing felt dangerous. Before he knew what was happening, they were seated across from one another, as the crowd chanted something that sounded like a cheer mixed with a threat. The grandmother hovered nearby, proud and terrified, as though she couldn't decide whether her family was about to marry well or explode. The first bite hit like a comet. The human's vision blurred, ears rang, and his entire soul attempted to leave his body. The granddaughter, on the other hand, let out a sound that was either a gasp of pleasure or the first vibration of a dying engine. She slammed her hand on the table and demanded more, eyes watering but thrilled. The crowd roared in approval. The llamas began dancing in synchronized circles, their hooves beating a rhythm that felt like a countdown to doom. Halfway through the bowl, the granddaughter leaned across the table and declared that if humans had food this powerful, then she absolutely, positively needed him around for future meals. It wasn't romance, but it was the most serious declaration she had ever made. The human was too busy questioning his life choices and the state of his internal organs to object. The elder announced that the second trial was the dance of mutual embarrassment, a ritual meant to determine whether the couple could endure public humiliation together. 2 llamas trotted over, one nudging the human, the other nudging the granddaughter. The music began, an upbeat, chaotic rhythm that sounded like someone had blended techno with barnyard sounds. The granddaughter jumped up with so much enthusiasm she nearly tackled him. She grabbed his hands, pulled him into the circle, and started flailing her limbs with zero coordination and maximum passion. It was absurd, ridiculous, and somehow infectious. The human found himself moving in ways his spine would protest later, and the llamas mirrored their steps with perfect synchronization, making the whole thing feel like an alien dance battle he had never signed up for. The grandmother wiped tears from her eyes and shouted encouragement, insisting that she hadn't seen such romantic disaster since her own youth. The crowd recorded everything on glowing holorbs, capturing each awkward spin, each offbeat step, each moment the human nearly fell on his face. As the dance ended, both partners collapsed onto the floor, gasping for air and laughing against their will. The elder approached again, holding a glowing stamp that looked like a ceremonial branding device. The final test, he announced, was the oath of sustenance, where the couple promised to never let each other starve, emotionally or literally. The granddaughter crossed her arms and insisted the human go first. He hesitated, still sweating from the dance, still numb from the noodles, but something about the absurdity of the moment cracked his resistance. He promised to share snacks, defend her from hunger, and provide emergency supplies of spicy chips whenever required. The granddaughter gawked at him like he just recited the galaxy's most romantic poetry. Then she vowed, loudly and aggressively, to protect the human from cosmic predators, provide him with her finest stolen goods, and ensure no one interrupted his snack time. The elders stamped their hands with glowing marks that symbolized union, chaos, and questionable decisions. The llamas cheered. The crowd celebrated. The grandmother fainted from relief and hunger simultaneously. When she woke, she saw the 2 of them standing side by side, hands glowing, both exhausted and exhilarated. She declared the ritual complete, and proclaimed that the human was now officially part of the family, or at least part of the pantry plan. As they left the hall, the granddaughter tugged him close and asked a question that sealed his fate more than any ritual ever could. So, how many snacks can humans really get their hands on? He didn't know whether to laugh, panic, or start drafting a grocery list. But one thing was certain: in this galaxy, romance wasn't written in the stars, it was written in crumbs, spice, and absolutely terrible dancing.